The story kicks off on a crowded subway. We meet James, a cold-blooded gangster making a shady call. On the flip side, we have our protagonist, Johana. She's currently tailing a middle-aged man, keeping her eyes peeled. Suddenly, a lady bumps into the guy, and his newspaper vanishes into the crowd. At the same time, James steps off the train and brushes past a man named John. Now these three strangers, Johana and a guy named Sudia, follow the middle-aged man into a restaurant. But wait, the scene shifts. Enter Max, a big guy who looks like he knows where the bodies are buried. Then we see James perched on a building, barking orders into a walkie-talkie. Boom! He triggers a car bomb, sending a building up in flames. As the fire department rushes in, a crew of robbers uses the chaos as a distraction to hit a bank at gunpoint and vanish. James spots the cops closing in and alerts Max. Max uses a massive truck to block the police cruisers, allowing the crew to slip away. This isn't just a random heist. These guys are pros. Back at the restaurant, the old man Johana was tailing finally confronts her. He's been onto her since yesterday. He grills her on every detail of their commute, testing her memory. Johana nails every answer except one. What happened to his newspaper? The old man drops a cryptic line, "We expected better," and leaves behind a paper that reads, "You are selected." Turns out, this was Johana's final exam. She's now an elite detective. Cut to a dark alley where the thieves are splitting the loot. One guy gets greedy, questioning why James gets a bigger cut. Big mistake. James beats him senseless and takes the cash. James then visits an old shoemaker. This isn't just any cobbler. The old man drops a cryptic line, "We expected better," and leaves behind a paper that reads, "You are selected." Turns out, this was Johana's final exam. She's now an elite detective. Cut to a dark alley where the thieves are splitting the loot. One guy gets greedy, questioning why James gets a bigger cut. Big mistake. James beats him senseless and takes the cash. James then visits an old shoemaker. This isn't just any cobbler. Tired of being a puppet, James survives an assassination attempt by a contract killer sent by the old man. He flips the script, kills the hitman, and warns the cobbler, "Give me the passport next time, or you're dead." Back at HQ, Johana is bored out of her mind until she has a limitless moment. She maps out Max's sightings and realizes he's appeared at every heist location. Since thieves never strike the same place twice, she predicts the next hit will be in the city center. Mr. Hong is impressed and finally lets her out of the van. They spot Max in the crowd, and Johana goes undercover as a normal girl to follow him into an elevator. She accidentally drops her coins to linger long enough to see his room number. The trap is set. Twice, she predicts the next hit will be in the city center. Mr. Hong is impressed and finally lets her out of the van. They spot Max in the crowd, and Johana goes undercover as a normal girl to follow him into an elevator. She accidentally drops her coins to linger long enough to see his room number. The trap is set. A high-speed chase ensues, ending in a brutal crash that kills the rest of the heist crew. But James is still in the wind. The police track his phone via satellite, but James is one step ahead. He sees the trap and tries to blend into the crowd. Hong recognizes him from the previous crime scene and gives chase. During the chaos, James brutally stabs an officer named Squirrel. James finally kills the shoemaker, grabs his passport, and prepares to disappear. But Johana has a flashback to the first day on the train. She realizes James was a regular at a specific market. It's Sunday, the day he always visits. She finds him, but James corners her with a knife. Hong arrives just in time, but gets wounded in the process. Rain blurs but as it clears, Johana stays on his tail. They corner him in a dead zone where the satellite signal drops. James pulls a gun, but the cavalry arrives. Hong gets his revenge for Squirrel, taking James down for good. The mastermind is finished, but the game never truly ends. Subscribe channel Mr. Happy Explain. Now here's where the game changes. Johana, tired of just sitting in the surveillance van, finally has a limitless moment. She pulls up a map and explains to Mr. Hong that Max has been spotted in 3 different areas, all of which were previous hit locations. Since pros never strike the same place twice, she predicts the next target is right in the... Impressed by her sharp instincts, Hong finally gives her the green light to hit the field with the team.
The team stakes out the city center and Johana goes undercover as a typical city girl to How Max. She slips into an elevate with him and...
Impressed by her sharp instincts, Hong finally gives her the green light to hit the field with the team.
The team stakes out the city center and Johana goes undercover as a typical city girl to How Max. She slips into an elevate with...
Johana goes undercover as a typical city. She slips into an elevator with him and accidentally drops her coins, using the distraction to catch his room number. With the target locked, Squirrel moves in to plant high-tech spy cams around Max's place. While digging through the trash for clues, Johana and Hong find shredded documents. Piecing them together, they realize the puzzle is actually an IP address for the stock market. That's the big fish they're after, the rooftop escape. The next day, Hong tracks the signal to a building overlooking the stock market. He realizes the Mastermind always watches the heist from a high vantage point to call the shots. James spots the heat closing in and immediately orders his crew to abort. As Hong charges, James pulls a daring move, jumping through a window to vanish into the streets. A high-speed chase follows, ending in a brutal wreck that takes out the rest of the crew. But James is still a ghost. The police try to trap him by... James brutally attacks Squirrel, leaving the team devastated. It's personal now. After killing the old shoemaker to reclaim his passport, James prepares to flee the country. However, Johana remembers a detail from their first encounter on the train, a poster James was holding that linked him to a specific Sunday market.
Hong heads to the market alone and finds him. James corners her with a knife, but Hong arrives just in time. Under the pouring rain, a final struggle breaks out. James tries to make a break for it where the satellite signal drops, but the poli close in. Hong finally gets justice. Squirrel, take